بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على سيدنا ونبينا أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين لا سيما بقية الله في الأراضين أجل الله تعالى فرجه الشريف اللهم أخرجني من ظلمات الوهم وأكرمني بنور الفهم اللهم افتح علينا أبواب رحمتك وانشر علينا خزائن علومك برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. Inshallah, in the first lecture and session, we study the book Revelation and Prophethood or Wahy Nubuwwat by the late Ayatullah Mutahhari. And after Salat, inshallah, we will study Awsaful Ashraf by the late Khaja Nasiruddin Tusi, one of our great scholars from the 7th century. And this is very important for us that we belong to a tradition which didn't come to existence, today or yesterday. This is thousands of years from the time of, at least we can go back to Prophet Ibrahim, who is the father of monotheistic religions, but we can go back to Prophet Adam. It's one line, one tradition, but when it comes to Islam, so we have 14 centuries of scholarship, and we are in debt to all the great scholars who made sure that we receive the teachings of Ahlul Bayt in a proper way without losing or adding. And inshallah, when I talk about Khaja Nasiruddin, I will talk about his difficult time. He was in a very difficult time. So the first session about revelation and prophethood. Ayatullah Mutahhari Ridwanullah Ta'ala alayh is someone that was very blessed by having great teachers. He was a student of Imam Khomeini, Allama Tabatabai, Ayatullah al-Uthman, Burujerdi, and many other people. He had very good also peers that many of them later became Maraja and great philosophers and Mufassirin, and he had very good students. But also he lived in a very special time before revolution, when there were lots of foreign ideas being introduced to the people in Iran and in Muslim world, and he tried hard to protect Islamic ideas from Muslims who were misguided, from atheists, communists, etc. When he was assassinated, Imam Khomeini said that I recommend all his books to people. So he put his signature on all the works of Ayatollah Mutahhari. Some of his works are written by him, some of them are based on his lectures and later compiled as book. This book is one of the books which he wrote himself and was part of 7 books, but he managed to write 6 of them, which is about aqaid, but in a new way. The one on Imama, he didn't manage to write when he was alive. But after he became martyr, the foundation, which is responsible for compiling his work, used some of his lectures on Imama and put it together. So we have a volume on Imama, but it's not written by him, it's based on his lectures. But those volumes that he wrote himself, one is about faith, one is about monotheistic worldview, the third is this one, revelation and prophethood, and the fourth is about knowing human beings, and the fifth is about society and history. Sixth was Imama, which I explained, and seventh is about resurrection. So we are studying the third one, about prophethood and revelation. When I was a teenager, I was reading this book and taking notes, and when also I went to seminary. So these are some of the books that shaped my mind, and I very much feel in debt to Ayatullah Mutahhari. So let us start with the first topic in the book, which is Hidayat Amme, general guidance. The idea of prophethood is based on our understanding of this principle of general guidance. So we are not the only creatures who receive guidance in the form of revelation. Allah has general and inclusive guidance for all creatures. And this is based on a special understanding that we have of God. So our understanding of Allah leads to the idea of general guidance, and that leads to the idea of having prophets and revelations. Okay, so it's very logical. What in particular we should remember about God? Now we don't want to talk about Tawheed and all these beautiful discussions about God. Just as a starting point for our discussion about prophethood, which is based on general guidance, he starts with a philosophical rule. Alhamdulillah, some of you maybe remember we had this discussion when we studied philosophy in the Hose, and inshallah, maybe in future, inshallah, we reach again to that discussion. So inshallah, I see you are mashallah committed, and inshallah we reached discussions about philosophy. But just as a presupposition, God is wajibul wujud bizat. God is a necessary being by himself, meaning that he is the only reason, the only source for his existence. His existence does not depend on anyone or anything else. Okay? He's necessary being, meaning his very type of existence is independent. One of the things that we study in philosophy is that wajibul wujud bizat wajibun min jami'il jihat. We are not talking always, in this way, but today we have some philosophical discussion. So don't worry, it's not always to be like that. So, philosophers say, if someone is wajibul wujud, one of its implications is that there can be no potentiality in wajibul wujud. In other words, there is nothing that wajibul wujud can have but doesn't have right now. Because if there is a matter of perfection that wajibul wujud can have, but he lacks now, who is going to give him that? How is going to acquire that? So, if something is a matter of perfection, he has it. If something he doesn't have it, he will never have it, because it's not a matter of perfection. Okay? So, we believe that God does not change. Okay? Mainstream philosophy in Christianity and Judaism also, they have the same idea. There were some people who believed in what they call process philosophy, like Whitehead. They had the idea that God also changes. But we believe that God doesn't change. And whatever we receive in the scriptures which suggests that God is changing is all attributes of action, sifat fi'l, not sifat al-zat. Yeah. For example, if I say, God is now pleased with me. He was not pleased. I repented. Now God is pleased. Yeah. Or for example, God gave me this child today. When we attribute something to God which has timing or a space, all these are attributes of action, sifat al-fi'l, not attributes of essence. We should discuss this, inshallah, when we study theology. So, briefly, just for the time being, accept this philosophical assumption that if something is wajibul wujud bizat, then is from every aspect wajibul wujud. So wajibun min jami' al-jawab means anything that he can have, he must have. There is no way that he would change, he would grow gradually. For example, God is 50% merciful, then becomes 60% merciful, then becomes 70% merciful. No, there is no change in God. Okay? So, one of the implications of this is that he is fayyad ala al-itlaq. Means he is absolutely gracious. It's impossible that God would be able to offer something, to show some generosity, some mercy, some kindness, and then he would not do it. Whatever goodness is in God, which can be expressed in actions, in creative actions or legislative actions, they come very naturally. It's like, for example, for sugar to be sweet is natural. Yeah? It's not that sugar, we say, today I don't want to be sweet. Yeah? Tomorrow I want to be more sweet. It's not possible. Allah has no change. Anything which is possible to come from him would come. He is absolutely gracious. Okay? But there is one thing that limits his graciousness. What is that? If you are, for example, a great teacher and you love to teach, what can limit your teaching? If there are no people to receive. Yeah? So, if you are a very good doctor, you want to help ill people, but no one comes to you, no one listens to you, no one takes your medicine. This limits you. But you don't have any internal limitation. God doesn't have any limitation of his own. Okay? So, from every angle, from every aspect that he can spread and share light, goodness in any way, is coming. Like, for example, if you have a source of light, okay? Imagine if we have the sun in our room. What would stop the sun from sending radiations everywhere? If this room is, veiled, is blocked, yeah? Otherwise, as soon as there is an opening, light goes out. Yeah? Even if it's from the keyhole, the light goes out. Yeah? So, if there is any opening for Allah's graces and, mercy, light go out, it will go. The only limitation is capacity of the other party. The whole universe and then things inside the universe. Now, based on this, we believe that God has created everything which was possible. Okay? Everything which is possible to be created, God has created. Like, if you are an artist who has different arts, and you have time and you have resources, why you may not do some of your arts? Is there possibility? No. If you have, for example, skills, 10 skills, you master 10 skills or 10 arts, you are the best artist in 10 fields, and you have time and you have resources, no limitation, then why you shouldn't show your arts? It naturally comes. So whatever he can create, he creates. And overall the system is the best. But of course, not every small part is the best. The system is the best, but in the system then we have hierarchy. We have from top to the bottom. Okay? One aspect of this, we want today to talk about one aspect of this, is the principle of general guidance. Whatever he creates, he makes sure that they have ability to reach their highest potentials. He doesn't waste the things that he creates. Yeah? If you have children, don't you like them to grow to their best potential? Of course you want. If you have a garden, don't you want to make sure that your flowers in the garden, the trees in your garden, reach their potentials? Yeah? Sometimes maybe things go out of your control, that's different, but you want to make sure that everything in your garden goes to the best potential. We as human beings are very limited, but we want this to happen. Allah doesn't have our limits when it's coming to him, but he has created a system. The system is the best possible system for the purpose that we have, which is a world for testing. Okay? It's not perfect full stop. If you want perfect world full stop, wait for heaven. Okay? If you want the best world for the purpose of testing and preparing for heaven, this is the best. Even heaven cannot serve this purpose. Allah couldn't have it the other way around. First go to heaven and then come to this world. It doesn't work. So, this is the best world for our purpose. And part of it is to guide every creature to their highest potentials, but we allow that because this world is world of conflicts, at the end not every bird that lays eggs, the eggs become birds. Yeah? Maybe some die, maybe another animal. Yeah? Not every human being reaches the highest potential. There are conflicts, there are interactions, but the good thing is that everything has guidance inside, has manuals, codes inside, that in suitable environment, if there is no overriding factor, if there is no interference, they know what to do and how to get to their potentials. You don't need to teach birds, animals, plants, trees, insects how to grow, how to look after themselves. They know that. Therefore, when Pharaoh asked Musa alayhi salam, who was with his brother, so he said, Man Rabbukuma. Koma is for two people. He said, who is your Lord, O Musa? Ya Musa. Okay, so there were two people, but he addressed Moses. Who is your Lord? Musa alayhi salam gave very brief and deep answer. ربنا الذي أعطى كل شيء خلقه ثم هدى. Our Lord is the one who gave everything its creation and then guided. And he gave such an answer that Pharaoh cannot say, I am also Lord. Because Pharaoh used to say to people, I am your Lord, yeah? Ana rabbukumul a'la. But with this answer, yeah, so Musa mentioned two aspects of lordship that Pharaoh could not say anything, because Pharaoh is not able to create and is not able to guide. So he said, our Lord guides after creating. Or for example, in Surah A'la, we say, الذي خلق فسوى والذي قدر فهدى. Allah is the one who creates and completes the creation, then measures, and then guides. So this principle of general guidance, when it comes to human beings, has different levels. In the whole creation, who receives more guidance? Human beings. Yeah, we receive greatest, level of guidance. Why? Because we have greatest potentials. Other animals or beings, they have much less potential than us. But our potentials are unlimited, from, asfal safilin, from the lowest of the low to the highest of the high. So when you have such a range of potentiality, then you need maximum guidance. Okay? So Allah has guided us through our instincts, through our intellect, our conscience, and above all, through revelation. We are blessed with many different ways of guidance. But two of them are the most important ones because they are very decisive. Instincts are very important, but instincts are not always very powerful. Or conscience is very good, but some people so much ignore their conscience that little by little their conscience is switched off. Or maybe even it will be upside down. They do something bad and they feel happy. Yeah, it's possible that in your heart you may not feel anything bad if you do bad things for a long time, and even you may enjoy. But two kind of guidance are never betraying us. They are always hujjah, proof. One is aql and one is wahy. Revelation and reason, these are two powerful sources of guidance that we have. Not every creature has. Of course, jinns also to some extent have. And these are hujjah, means they never betray. Even a very vicious person whose heart is, very dark, his aql still is a hujjah. Therefore, when they go to hell, they say, لو كنا نسمع أو نعقل ما كنا في أصحاب السعير. Had we listened to the prophets, to the revelation, or used our aql, we would not have been here. So when they say na'aqil, does it mean have we used aql of mu'mineen? Or means our own aql? Yeah? Everyone has aql, and this aql is hujjah. No matter is a good person or bad person, their aql is hujjah. And then revelation. So when you study the Quran, you find that Allah talks about general guidance, and also in particular, Allah uses the term wahy, revelation. But wahy is not only prophetic revelation. We have wahy for other beings, and in particular living beings. Even bees. Bees receive wahy. أوحى ربك إلى النحل أن اتخذي من الجبال بيوتا. But this is not prophetic revelation. Or أوحينا إلى أم موسى. This is general revelation. And it means that God sends communications for guidance. Because in Arabic, wahy originally literally means a hidden, or you can say private and quick message. If I send a message here in the way that everyone understands, this is not wahy. But if I can communicate to someone quickly and in a private way, that is wahy. So Allah communicates to all creatures and guides them, but when it comes to human beings, Allah does something very sophisticated. And that is, He selects some people and then sends infallible communication to them, something that from beginning to the end is preserved from any alteration, illusion, confusion, mistake, change, clear and infallible. And then He communicates to the rest of human beings. Inshallah, in the next session, we will continue this discussion, and we will especially talk about some of the characteristics of those who receive revelation. Why they should be equipped with infallibility, with miracles, etc. I want to stop because I want also to have chance to receive your questions before Salat. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen.
Thank you so much, Sheikh Shomali, for the wonderful
You're welcome.
information. We really appreciate your time. Jazakumullah. And now we would like to have questions from the sisters.
Yes.
If you can perhaps either unmute yourself, or if you can raise your hand with the emoji.
And also, if sisters who are here, you have also questions, how much time you have?
Do we do one question from there and then one question from the sisters?
Okay.
Present, and then maybe that way?
Yeah. So one question from sisters on Zoom, one question from here. Inshallah, we can. How much time we have till Salat?
We have about 15 minutes.
15 minutes. Okay, we have good time also. Bismillah.
Is there anybody here who would like to ask anything?
Okay, maybe we can start from here till sisters over there also. Sister Shaheen, please.
Just a quick clarification. So you said that revelation and intellect were the reliable ones. Conscience can be killed or reversed. What's the but for the instinct?
Instinct also is something that is not very much, powerful. For example, you may see mothers who have instinct of motherhood, but they may abandon their children. Yeah, it's possible to ignore. And also in human beings, instincts are very limited. Animals, can live all their life without education, without, schooling, because they have enough instincts to cover everything. Yeah, but our instincts are very limited. And this is with a purpose, so that we learn to and live together, support each other. So instincts have very limited role in human beings. Yeah. Any question? Yes.
I just wanted to ask about intellect. So some people would claim they're intelligent people, but then we see that they're also misguided people.
Yes.
So can you just...
Yeah, this is a very important question. Intellect or aql is the ability of using the information that you have for making a sound judgment, sound conclusion. Okay? Unfortunately, some people misuse their aql. So they are very good in reasoning, And they are also very intelligent in the sense that they can do it quickly. They can, quickly collect information, process, come, to some conclusion. But their intellect is denied the power of commanding. They just use the intellect, but they say, I tell you what I want. So the intellect keeps saying that, you should this for your eternal perfection. They say, no, don't tell me about this. Just tell me, how can I, for example, make more money? How can I, make power? Okay? So they have instrumentalist approach to intellect. Instead of listening completely to aql, like, for example, if you have a great, for example, a scholar, scientist, and instead of taking advice, we put him in prison, and whenever we are facing problem, we ask him something just as much as we want, we act upon it, the rest we don't listen. In Dua Sabah we say, Ilahi nafsi mahjub wa aqli ma'yub, wa aqli maghlub wa hawai ghalib. Aql is maghlub, is defeated, is put in the prison. So, this is why sometimes instead of reason we use intellect to say that what we mean a reason which is respected, a reason which is put in the position of commanding and leading, not someone that is dictated by selfish people what to do for us. Okay? We have lots of hadith about aql. For example, in the beginning of Usul Kafi, Kitab al-Aql wal-Jahl. And Imam Ali alayhi salam says, Wallahi ma Muawiyatu ba'adha minni. By Allah, Muawiyah is not more clever than me. Because Muawiyah was doing lots of politics. And Amir al-Mu'minin in his politics was very straightforward. He was not using, tactics of Muawiyah. Some people maybe thought Muawiyah is more clever, more intelligent. But Imam says he's not more intelligent or more rational than me, but he is using satanic planning and politics. Tilkan nakra wa shaytana. So we have to be careful. If anyone really follows aql completely from first step of the latter is going by the rules of aql, theoretical aql, practical aql, then we'll be okay. But if we use aql in a selective way and force aql to just serve us for using means, and we say we dictate you what are the ends, is the problem. We have Sister Zainab.
Sister Zainab Zaghi, can you please unmute yourself and ask your question?
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaykum assalam wa rahmatullah.
Thank you very much for having us. Just as a side question, I was just interested in, I think you mentioned in the introduction that basically we believe that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created everything that is possible. I don't know if you can elaborate on that a little bit.
Yeah. So in philosophy, we have a rule which we call it Imkanul Ashraf. Means whenever there is a possibility of having something better, Allah would not leave it aside and create something which is lower. It's like, for example, if you have a waterfall, water comes all the way from the top to the end. It's not that jumps, for example, comes 10 meters and then we don't have water, then again appears after 50 meters. No, all these degrees should be filled. Or for example, when sun is shining, radiations non-stop spread. Yeah, it's not that they give light and then they don't give light, then again they give light, and then they don't give light. So this steadiness and continuousness are important features of someone who is absolutely gracious. He would not deprive some levels of potentiality and then say, I don't want to create you, I create the rest. So anything that can come and any reception which is there will be filled. Like imagine, for example, if you are very kind, generous, and very rich, absolutely kind, and you are giving away food, then you don't deprive some people. You give food to everyone who brings a container, you fill their container. Yeah? You don't say, no, I don't want to give to these people. There must be a reason you don't give to some people. Why you deprive them? If you have all the means and all the reason for giving, then it's impossible to deprive unless they themselves don't want to receive. Yeah?
Thank you, Sheikh. That's very interesting. Thank you.
You're welcome. May Allah bless you. Yes. Alaikum salam.
I wanted to ask, if Allah is like Khaliq and He's still creating,
Yes.
then how is everything that He's created already come? But we believe that He's like still the creator, so He's still creating, like in the present.
Yeah. So He has created everything possible, but this is not static. This is dynamic. Yeah, it's like waterfall, which is continuing to, shower or pour water. It's not stopped. Or a river which is flowing. So Allah doesn't have time, so that, for example, He works at this particular time, then He stops. Yeah, He's eternal. This world is limited by time and space. So you can say it in a more philosophical way. Allah has only done one thing. That one thing is still unfolding. Quran says, وَمَا أَمْرُنَا إِلَّا وَاحِدًا. Okay? Our affair is except one. So how many times Allah has created? Just once. But that once is taking billions of years to unfold. So for Him there is no, for example, time of working and time of resting. Thank you for the question. We have another question, Sister Kima. Sister Kimia, Bismillah.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Alaykum assalam wa rahmatullah.
Portion of your talk. I was just wondering, in terms of what we're guided by, you mentioned the four things, but I was wondering, where would guidance by imitation come in those four aspects, or would it be a separate thing? For example, mother to child, mentor to student. Would it fit in those four ways that we're guided, or is it kind of spread out between each one, or I'm not sure where it fits.
Yeah.
To be honest, yeah.
When, for example, a child looks at a mother or father and learns something, this is with the help of aql. So we mentioned already aql. So it is the aql that can process. If there was no aql, you look at your father or mother 100,000 times and you don't learn anything. Yeah. So either it is instinct, which even doesn't need to look at someone, or it's by learning. Learning needs aql. But aql is not always very complicated, because aql has different functions, different levels. So it's not always in need of very sophisticated, thing. Even for proof of existence of God, yeah, we have that famous hadith that there was an old lady who was making some thread or something with a machine and was with her hand moving. Rasulullah said, how did you come to know that God exists? She said, if I move this handle, this machine works. If I don't move, it stops. So this world must be moved by God. Rasulullah said, alaykum bedin al-ajais. You should have religion like old ladies. Meaning that this old lady also has a faith and backup for her faith. Yeah, she has argument for. So this, you don't need to go and study philosophy for this level. Yeah. So children learn by using their aql, but little by little we grow. But if you want to understand very subtle and deep things, of course you need to study. You need to go to school, university, hose, etc. Any question? Maybe we can have one more question, inshallah. Yes.
So going back to the intellect and how it can be imprisoned, or how it can, like, we can use it or it can be in control. How do we know which one, like what state we are in? So how do I know if I have imprisoned my intellect and just using it every now and then? Or how do I know that it is guiding me at every step?
This needs careful monitoring. You have to check your ideas. Have they really been results of proper thinking and logical thinking and reasoning or not? Especially if your selfish interests are involved, you have to be very critical of your assessments. One of the beautiful things is a rational person should be always happy to discuss his or her points. Because if my ideas are results of thinking and we share aql, I should be happy to discuss, because I'm not going to lose. Either you come to the same conclusion, or you may show me where I have made mistakes. People who are hesitant to discuss, they must have a problem. Either they feel inside very vulnerable, or at least they are mentally not in a good, condition, or psychologically, they are tired, Sometimes people don't have energy to talk to people. But from a rational perspective, a seeker of truth is always happy to share and discuss. This is why in Islam we have so much emphasis on muzakaratul ilm, on discussion, on mubahasa. If I discuss something with my classmates and then with my teacher, okay, then gradually it will be polished, bad things will be left aside. We have problem with those that think and study without discussing with anyone. They present their ideas. This is the problem. So my request actually is that I wanted to say this, but this question was, preparing. That my request, inshallah, if possible, before next session comes, some of you do mubahasa with each other. What did you understand? What did you think, for example, was in need of support, extra support, If you discuss with each other, it helps to understand, helps to better memorize, it helps you with ability to present, it strengthens your friendship. So there are lots of benefits. And even if you are very, very genius, just listening once is not enough. Yeah, don't think that I listen once and then that's enough. This is in need of review and discussion, inshallah. Okay, So inshallah we will have a break for salat, and after salat inshallah we will connect. Maybe shall we say half an hour? So it's now here 20:27. Maybe we can say 21:09. Is it good? So that sisters online also, if you want to pray or do something, you know when we are going to resume. So inshallah 9 p.m. in UK time.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you.
What I suggest is please just be online. You can turn off your camera and you can go for prayers, but then we can all be back at 9 p.m. inshallah.
Excellent.
التماس دعاء.
May Allah bless you.
التماس.
May Allah bless.
Thank you so much, Sheikh. Thank you.
You're welcome. May Allah bless you. في أمان الله.
Recording stopped.